Looks like the WNBA referees has been put on notice because the WNBA is making big-time.
WNBA players endure questionable calls and ignored flagrant fouls. Caitlin Clark left defenseless highlights growing concerns. This isn't a dystopian future. It's happening now, raising alarms for fairness and player safety.
One thing as a very long-term sports fan I know is that officiating and refereeing is always at the top of a fan's list, of the media's list. Obviously, we work hard on training. We work hard on consistency.
The WNBA just quietly admitted the referee problem by hiring 2 new positions to fix the chaos. But here's the twist. It might be too late. We're exposing 2024's ref disasters and questioning if these hires can save the league.
That stuck out amongst the WNBA fans for the 2024 season, and I can't even lie, I have to admit, it is the horrible refereeing that took place on the basketball court. We know there was countless times, countless calls, and hell, they arguably messed up the WNBA Finals this year alone.
Game 5 of the WNBA Finals. New York Liberty versus Minnesota Lynx. The clock ticks down, tension peaks, then a sudden whistle. The crowd falls silent. What just happened?
What a terrible way to end this WNBA season.
This moment wasn't just a game changer. It was the tipping point in a season plagued by questionable calls and growing frustration with WNBA officiating. With just 5.2 seconds left in regulation, refs called a foul on Lynx forward Alana Smith against Liberty star Breanna Stewart. Here's the thing. Stewart appeared to have traveled before the foul, and during replay review, it's clear there was no contact. The free throws tied the game, sending it to overtime where the Liberty clinched the win.
This wasn't just a game-changing moment. It was the tipping point in a season marred by questionable officiating. With 5.2 seconds left, refs called a foul on Lynx, forward Alana Smith against Liberty star Breanna Stewart. The problem? Replay showed Stewart traveled before the foul, and no contact was made. The free throws tied the game, sending it to overtime, where the Liberty claimed a controversial victory, fueling frustrations across the league.
She doesn't just take one extra step. Let's count here how many steps she takes when she gets the ball. I'm gonna put this in slow motion. Okay, so she gets the ball here. She jumps 1, 2, 3, 4. She at least jumps 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. She at least takes 4 steps at minimum. She might have taken 5.
Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve didn't hold back, declaring, "This was stolen from us," her voice heavy with emotion. Social media erupted, with fans and players outraged, accusing favoritism toward the Liberty as controversy spread like wildfire.
The challenge, we have got to change our challenge rules, and the officials doing the game should have a third party, because that was not a foul. That call should have been reversed on that challenge. If we sent that clip in, well, first of all, Nafisa Collier, number of times that she's held, etc., and there's nothing down that end, right? Which we, it's kind of, for whatever reason in the series, that was kind of the way it was.
The 2024 WNBA season's officiating crisis kept snowballing, with Caitlin Clark at its center. Time and again, Clark endured missed calls and inconsistent rulings. In one infamous play against the Connecticut Sun, Clark took a hard hit. No whistle, no foul, just silence. Fans watched in disbelief, amplifying frustrations over the league's growing officiating controversy.
As everyone else has seen this angle, I'm calling her in, and I'm saying to her, I need answers.
Caitlin Clark finally spoke out, her frustration clear. "I feel like I'm getting hammered." Her words echoed what fans had seen all season. Star players like Clark left unprotected, a problem that's not just unfair, but dangerously unacceptable.
Such obvious calls. Why did it seem like some teams were getting preferential treatment? The league's response, or lack thereof, only fueled the fire of conspiracy theory.
As controversies mounted, even NBA stars couldn't stay silent. The evidence of inconsistent and potentially biased officiating became impossible to ignore. It wasn't just about missed calls. The WNBA's integrity was on the line. Fans demanded answers. Why were obvious calls missed? Why did some teams seem favored? The league's lack of response only fueled conspiracy theories and deepened frustrations.
You can see in this photo here, which is right before Stewie goes up with the ball, Elena Smith is not touching her at all. She has two fingers that look like slightly tapping the ball. Her body isn't touching Breanna Stewart. Her arm isn't touching Breanna Stewart. There was clearly zero contact.
As the season progressed, calls for change intensified. Players feared for their safety, coaches scrambled to adjust strategies to inconsistent officiating, and fans just wanted a fair game, not one decided by questionable calls. After the controversial finals, it became clear the WNBA was at a crossroads. The officiating crisis had hit a boiling point. Something had to change. But would the league's response be enough to restore its reputation and rebuild trust? Or was this just the start of a larger problem?
Overhaul needs to happen from top down. Like on every level, it's just disaster after disaster after disaster after disaster. Like this, at this point, it's laughable. I can't even hold back at this point. There were so many people, former WNBA players, current WNBA players coming out and just saying how bad the referees were, how that could actually happen in the finals game.
Just when the WNBA officiating crisis seemed at its peak, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert stepped up to the microphone. Her next words could either quell the fire or fuel it. What she said left fans and players questioning, is the league's top official disconnected from the reality on the court?
With the increased attention this year, there's also been increased scrutiny about the quality of refereeing. Curious if there has been any conversation about whether it's referee pay, referee training, anything to ensure that is as good as it can.
The pressure on the WNBA to address refereeing concerns had reached a boiling point. Players expressed their frustrations, coaches demanded answers, and fans threatened to tune out if changes weren't made. All eyes were on Commissioner Engelbert, hoping for a response that demonstrated the league's awareness of the gravity of the situation. However, when Engelbert finally addressed the issue at the WNBA Finals press conference, her words stunned the basketball world. "They work hard. They're human," she said, referring to the officials. Many were left shocked and confused. Was this really the best response the commissioner could offer amid such widespread criticism?
Obviously, not every, they're humans. Looking at technology, basketball is a little more complex than tennis, for instance, around technology of officiating. So we're looking at a variety of different domains.
The disconnect between Engelbert's casual dismissal and the severity of the officiating issues was staggering. This wasn't about a few missed calls or controversial decisions. Player safety was being compromised, game outcomes were potentially influenced, and the league's integrity was in question. Engelbert's response, essentially saying, "Everyone makes mistakes," left fans and analysts stunned. They immediately began analyzing her words, questioning how she could be so out of touch with the realities on the court. Was she unaware of the problem's scope? Or did her apparent indifference point to deeper issues within the league's leadership? The concerns grew louder.
You thought it couldn't get any worse. Fans were noticing the commissioner's outfit that she wore for the trophy presentation.
The controversy continued when Engelbert appeared at the championship trophy presentation, wearing a dress featuring the New York City skyline. Amid accusations of favoritism toward the New York Liberty, her fashion choice was seen by many as tone-deaf at best and possibly damaging to her credibility at worst.
Her dress. It's literally the New York skyline. And okay, I kind of get it. They're playing in New York, so no matter what team wins, but you have a New York team playing their final game in New York. This is just basic IQ. Like, I would like to test the IQ of everyone in management at the WNBA and see if any of them are qualified to run any major business.
The WNBA's social media team made a misstep by posting, then deleting, a tweet implying the championship belonged to the Liberty, fueling suspicions of bias within the league office. As calls for change grow louder, the WNBA stands at a pivotal moment. Can the league afford to overlook these issues any longer? What consequences await if they persist? Just when all seemed lost, sharp-eyed fans noticed the WNBA hiring two key positions.
WNBA referees need to be held accountable, and it looked like the league is definitely doing some about it.
In a surprising move, the WNBA quietly posted job listings that could transform how games are officiated. However, these roles might not be what fans expected. 2 new positions appeared on the league's job board, aiming to directly address the officiating issue. Fans are excited. Could this be the solution we've been waiting for? Let's explore these intriguing new roles. The first role is the WNBA Referee Performance and Development Advisor, responsible for enhancing referee performance through feedback, game observations, and training clinics. This person will closely analyze games, identifying trends and areas where officials can improve. The second position, WNBA Referee Operations Analyst, focuses on behind-the-scenes tasks, including data management, coordinating evaluations, and assisting in updating the WNBA rulebook. Think of it as a detective dedicated to improving officiating across the league. These roles sound promising on paper, but some fans are skeptical. They question whether just 2 people can truly fix such a widespread issue. It's like trying to patch a sinking ship with a couple of Band-Aids.
The NBA Replay Center will provide on-site referees with superior tools and more control over the video review process.
Let's compare this to how other leagues handle officiating. The NBA, NFL, and NHL have entire departments dedicated to officiating, with extensive training programs, oversight committees, and specialized systems in place. The NBA even has a centralized officiating system, and the NHL boasts a full department focused on player safety. In comparison, the WNBA's new hires seem quite small. So, who will fill these roles? Will the WNBA bring in experienced pros from other leagues or promote from within? Either way, these new hires will have their work cut out for them. But can 2 positions truly solve the deep-rooted issues in WNBA officiating? They're a step in the right direction, but with player safety and game integrity on the line, is it enough?
Brendan Shanahan of the National Hockey League's Department of Player Safety. Throughout the season, we will provide video examples of both legal hockey plays and illegal plays that rise to the level of supplemental discipline.
As we wait to see how these new roles unfold, it's clear the WNBA needs more than just a few new hires. A complete overhaul is needed, covering everything from training and accountability to technology and transparency. The big question is the WNBA ready to go the distance?
But I know it's a passionate issue. Every fan group, I love when I go into market and every fan group I meet with, they usually wait and ask it as the last question of the night, but they do ask about officiating, which I appreciate the passion for that.
Fair play in women's basketball is hanging by a thread, and while fans focus on controversial calls, a more insidious issue looms beneath the surface. What if poor officiating isn't just a matter of incompetence? If the WNBA doesn't act soon, the consequences could be far-reaching, alienating fans, sponsors, and even jeopardizing player careers. Just ask Caitlin Clark, who's been a victim of non-calls this season.
Referees is under fire yet again. A lot of questionable calls. Now, we know that has been the story of the WNBA for the whole 2024 season, going all the way back to rookie sensation Caitlin Clark making her run throughout this league. The referees just cannot get it right.
Experts believe the WNBA can recover, pointing to other sports that have weathered similar challenges and emerged stronger. Take the NBA's officiating scandal in the early 2000s. After implementing major reforms, they restored fan trust. So what's the solution? Some suggest a complete overhaul of the WNBA's officiating system, including cutting-edge technology, third-party reviews for controversial calls, and possibly adopting practices from the NHL's Department of Player Safety. Imagine a system with clear video examples of legal and illegal plays, eliminating any confusion. The clock is ticking for the WNBA's leadership. They face a crucial decision: continue business as usual and hope it passes, or take bold action to restore the league's reputation and protect its players.
These referees in the WNBA clearly do not know what they're doing. They don't know how to call.
One thing is clear: the future of the WNBA hangs in the balance. Fans are calling for change, players deserve better, and the integrity of the game is at stake. The league finds itself at a crossroads, and the next move could either make or break women's professional basketball in America. The ball is in their court. What will they do with it? How the WNBA handles this officiating crisis will shape the league's future for years to come. But this issue goes beyond fixing a few bad calls. It's about restoring the faith of players, fans, and the broader sports community. The WNBA has a golden opportunity to show it's serious about change. Imagine a league where players like Caitlin Clark can focus on their game, not worrying about missed calls, where fans can cheer without questioning every whistle. It's a tough road ahead, but with the right steps, the WNBA can turn this crisis into an opportunity. Are you ready to see what happens next? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.